We did it! We made it to number 10. I'm holding my pick, so I can't really... This looks like 93 quarters, Harry Potter. I don't know, it's whatever.
10 fingers, 10 toes. Over the lips and up the nose.
You know, I normally have a witty comeback, but right now...
I just made that up just right now, dude.
Right now, it's not great-ass beer. It's good-ass beer. This is my beverage for tonight, so that's why that I have not quite 9 fingers or 10 fingers, but anyways, But tonight, I'm excited. I've been thinking about this ever since we talked about it, but a tribute to none other than Stevie Ray Vaughan. Not only Stevie Ray Vaughan, but also for Texas Blues. We're both Texas boys. I love that cover. The Texas Flood cover. That's insane. I love it.
Yeah, I found it on Austin City Limits, and I was letting my son listen to it.
So what did he think?
He was blown away. He
really?
was like, "Oh my God, who's that guy?" You know, and like he was like, because he was starting to see the guitar face. Yeah. So he was like, "Why does his face look like that?" You know, because Stevie let it. You know,
he let it all hang out. And that's what really blows me away, because people who, in fact, I was watching, it was a George Carlin, it was a video from decades ago, and George Carlin, I like watching George Carlin. He was funny in Bill and Ted and all, but he made the comment, he said, white people don't know the blues. He said, white people don't know the blues. And I said,
right.
What the hell's Stevie Ray Vaughan? I mean, I honestly cannot think of a better guitar player. I mean, yes, you've got Eric Clapton, you've got Slash, the list goes on. But does anybody put it on the line like Stevie Ray?
Yeah, no, and it's like he took the, you have like your Delta blues, your Robert Johnson, Muddy Waters,
right,
Buddy Guy, even B.B. King. You've got that Delta Chicago blues scene. That's, it's all relevant to each other, and it all fits into that genre.
Yeah.
And Stevie kind of like, it's like he took a scoop out of that, and then he, a scoop out of Buddy Holly's playbook, and then just lit it on fire.
Yeah.
And he just kind of came up with, it was just a blend of kind of everything that was around him at the time. You had the Delta blues, but you also had the, your Texas rock and roll that was going on.
That's true. That is true.
And then even your psychedelic, even your Hendrix and stuff like that.
He was a Hendrix fan, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah.
And those two, he could go toe to toe with Hendrix.
Look at Voodoo Child. Perfect example. If you listen to Hendrix version,
I thought that
was
Hendrix when I first heard it. I was like, "Is that Hendrix or Stevie?"
And the only version that I know of that I've ever heard of Stevie Ray's Voodoo Child is a live version from the '80s. And yes, because as soon as he starts with the wah pedal, at first I'm thinking, boy, this must be no. I have heard both versions, but no, it blows you away, because he takes what Hendrix did to a whole new level with sound, with tone, with everything. In fact, that's why that I brought out my Tube Screamer, because whenever that you hear a Fender guitar, what do you think of? You think of it's a thin sounding guitar. It needs a little, you know? And one thing, when I first got this, I was using this as a distortion pedal, and I was doing some reading, and the Tube Screamer is what's known as an overdrive. It's not the same as a distortion pedal. It's meant to boost the sound, to push that.
Literally make those tubes scream.
It literally, yes. And that's why that it sounds best plugging into a tube amp. In fact, Brian and I both have Fender Blues Juniors, and it literally makes the tube scream. It pushes that amp, and it opens up the sound. Because I actually tried plugging that into my Les Paul, and it just, it was like kind of all over the place. But you plug that into a Fender Blues Junior, or a tube amp in general.
Yeah.
Damn, man, it's fat sounding.
Yeah, and Fender. This morning when I was drinking coffee, I just got on YouTube on my TV, and I just got on the Fender channel.
Yeah. And
just hit go, latest. And I was just watching, and man, they actually have a really cool YouTube channel.
Really?
I mean, they have performances, they have gear reviews and demos. And what Fender's doing now is they're cross-pollinating guitars. Like they'll put a Strat, neck on a Telecaster body.
Huh.
It's like the Fender guys are drinking beer in the shop. That's all.
Or they might be doing something else late at night. I don't know. It makes you wonder. I mean, open up those thoughts and the processes that go into that.
But I was watching and they were doing gear demos on some of their new pedals.
Really?
And I've got one of their new delay pedals. It was really expensive, but these things they'll do more than your Boss pedals will do. I mean, it's like a whole workstation in and of itself. But no, back to that. That's kind of on my gear wish list is a Tube Screamer. Because I haven't had my Blues Junior very long. I've just always kind of run the old Boss DS1 distortion, and which
does a good job. It does. It does a good job. But
it's good for I don't know, solos and stuff like that. But for kind of a chunkier rhythm, it's got a little too much bite to it.
Yeah,
it's a little too much. And I've had a Big Muff.
Wait, are you saying that you have experienced a Big Muff?
Big Muff.
Tell us, okay, for those of you who are probably a little confused right now what we're talking about, no, we're not talking about what you may think, you perverts. We're talking about
go
the
to
Big
your
Muff pedal.
Porn channels if you want to see that kind of garbage.
That's right. This is not hashtag Big Muff. So Brian, why don't you explain to people what the Big Muff pedal is?
Well, I watch a lot of YouTube shit just on gear reviews and stuff like that, pedal board demos and whatever.
Yeah.
This is what the guitar dudes do in their spare time.
This is what we do. In fact, I spent hours, Wednesday, looking up pedals, and I'll have to throw something, if not now, I'll throw it out later, but go ahead.
Yeah. Shit, now I'm thinking about other pedals. But it seemed like rig rundown. That's what I was searching for. Yeah. Rig rundowns, where they go on. It's Premier Guitar. It's their YouTube channel, Premier Guitar.
Yeah.
And you go to rig rundowns, and you can see just different famous guitar players, and they'll go on stage. Here's the rig they're using. Everyone seems to have a Big Muff on their pedal board. So I was like, okay. Well, first of all, the Big Muff pedal is massive.
It's huge.
It takes up a whole. Well, then I was like, okay, well, I don't want anything that big.
Yeah,
so,
it is
but
big.
Then they came out with a smaller version of it, and then I was like, okay,
a small muff?
Smaller muff.
The
muff is shrunketh. But I had it on my pedal board for probably a year.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. I never could because it's not a distortion pedal. It's not an overdrive. It's a fuzz pedal.
Okay, that's probably what it is.
Fuzz.
Because in fact, I was watching this thing just to kind of tie this caveat, but didn't a lot of the earlier distortion pedals, weren't they fuzz pedals?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the Big Muff has been around I mean, forever. And
Yeah.
you know, and you can get, you know, I know you can get a good sound out of it. And actually, the tones that I was getting out of it, I mean, they were great.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't for me. You know, I couldn't write anything, you know, that I would record or put on an album. You know what I mean? That
unless you were doing punk or grunge, I mean. Now, okay, didn't any grunge bands? I don't know if it was Kurt Cobain or what, but didn't some early grunge bands use the Big Muff pedal?
Yeah, I think all of them did.
Okay.
Listen to Dinosaur Jr. They're an alternative band. They were real big in the 90s. Jay Massey's the guitar player. He big muff sound. So that'll kind of give you that idea of a big muff fuzz, which, like I said, I mean, for what it is, it sounds great, like in 60s psychedelic type stuff.
I can see
Floyd's
that.
used it.
Yeah, I can see that.
But, you know, like I said, it wasn't for me. I mean, honestly, I'm more of a clean player anyway.
Yeah.
I like more of the pretty clean tones more than anything. Usually distortion with me is just a boost, you know.
But you know, that's what really blew me away with Stevie Ray is that he would yes, even though he was using the tube screamer and I'm sure he's using other pedals, but first off he was using, and in fact this here is a replica of what Stevie Ray used. It's got Texas Special single coil pickups, jumbo frets. But one thing that I noticed is Stevie Ray, even if you play a clean sound, he was digging.
Yeah. Now
he
something
was
else
digging into those strings.
Yeah, but something else is the tremolo arm.
Yeah.
On that, yours is on the top of the bridge.
I don't have the
part,
but yeah, it's
but
actually up top. Normally it's down towards the bottom, but he actually flipped it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually flipped his.
You know why? Like, why
I don't know if it was just easier because, I mean, if you think about, like, if you see, like, where my hand is, he could strum and he could do that because if it's down here, he would have to bring it, but I think that he liked it closer to his hand so he could do that and do.
Yeah. Something else for you Strat guys, and I don't even know if you've heard of these, John, but you can go online, and they're called just go like Fender Tremolo Arm Springs, and I don't have any in my shop here, but anyway, they're just these little black springs, these tiny little guys, and you drop them in you take your whammy bar out and you drop that spring in there and you screw it back in, and it keeps it tight. Like you see how mine, you know, it's not.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Because I don't like it free, just flopping around. I like
it stagnant in a static. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't even know what I was talking about.
But you know, it really.
I got
but if you think about, and there was another band that you're going to mention here, and that was another. ZZ Top is Texas, huh?
That little old band from Texas, ZZ Top, and this album right here, Tres Hombres, dude. I mean, it just catches fire, you know, and it's just Billy Gibbons, you know, and Billy Gibbons, he is you can kind of trace the lineage, because sure, you know, ZZ Top, you know, was an influence on Stevie Ray Vaughan. How couldn't they be?
Right.
Billy Gibbons, you know, I've looked, okay, what were his influences? And Jimmy Reed, he was a big Jimmy Reed fan. And Jimmy Reed he was kind of the, you know, he kind of took blues into more of that.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
That's a Jimmy Reed, which is more of and that's kind of where where blues kind of started.
Yeah.
taking off from the Delta blues style and getting into more of a, progressive.
It was a shuffle, a swing, because if you think of there's some bands out there that they call them Texas swing bands, and it's kind of I don't want to use the word hybrid, but if you think about a lot of this stuff stemmed from either country or blues, usually one of those two, because rock. What did rock stem from? Country. With rockabilly, blues, definitely had its own roots. It stemmed jazz, and of course there was some hybrid in there between blues and country. And if you think about what that brought us to today, because like you mentioned, ZZ Top was influenced by, what was the band's name? Billy Gibbons? No, not Billy Gibbons, but
Jimmy Reed.
Jimmy Reed, yeah. So Jimmy Reed inspired people like Billy Gibbons, which inspired Stevie Ray. So you have to see this trail, which brings us today.
And you can't forget about Chuck Berry.
With that rockabilly sound, exactly.
Yep.
That's with that shuffle there, which that inspired bands like Beach Boys and so forth. But a lot of that is what leads us to today, because it's Stevie Ray who kind of carried on that tradition, especially for us Southerners, for us Texans. He sparked a real interest in a different style of blues. I mean, it wasn't just that typical, don't get me wrong, B.B. King. In fact, if you watch the video where B.B. King and Stevie Ray, it's almost like Stevie Ray he's trying to hold back, because he doesn't want to embarrass Steve, or embarrass B.B. King, because he is the king. But
and I'll say it. Stevie Ray can mop the floor of B.B. King, mop the friggin' floor,
no doubt.
But then again, that's almost not even a fair comparison, because again, there are two different styles of blues.
It's two different styles. Yeah.
You have
exactly.
your Delta Mississippi blues, and then your Texas, rock, but imagine if Stevie were alive today.
Oh my goodness, I couldn't even imagine what he'd be doing, because he's about our parents' age. He would be in his probably early 60s, but it's kind of surreal to think about what he would be like. In fact, brings up just a little side note. That is why I would never ever fly on those little small Cessnas. You will never see me get my ass on a Cessna or anything like it, because every single band that I can think of, except for Leonard Skinner, and theirs was just an old ass piece of shit airplane. In fact, I actually read an article on this, that right before they took off, they said this is the last time that we fly on this. We're going to sell this plane, and we're going to go buy ourselves a new one. And it never happened. But yes, So people like Stevie Ray, Randy Rhoads, who played with Ozzy, they all died on a Cessna-like airplane. So you will never, if you own a Cessna and if you want to take me for a spin, ain't gonna happen, baby.
Not gonna happen with all the boats and hoes in the world.
Taters and hoes.
Taters. Yep. But that kind of leads me to okay, if I were going to give somebody advice, like I'm qualified to give anybody advice. I didn't need to be asking some advice. But
Who would ask us? Who would ask us for advice?
Not my kid. I'll tell you that much.
Really? Okay. So Brax he's never come to you, Dad, hey, can you show me how to fill in the blank?
Not really. No, usually it's my fault he doesn't know, or something, you know what I mean.
Kids! I never thought I would say this, but kids.
I know. I was the same way, though. I was a smart ass.
We knew everything.
Yeah. But, my advice would be to, there's Texas blues, right? And then
Yeah.
like I'm up here in Seattle, but I got to live in Texas, and I'd go see a lot of live bands in
Yeah.
Texas, Brazos Nights in Waco and
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
And you know, and up here I'm getting a lot more of a hard rock scene, a lot more. You don't have a lot of blues players up here, you know.
Yeah.
But you get some really cool metal shows and stuff, and but you know, immerse yourself in different, you know, genres, you know, and like if you want to study the blues, you know, go way back to the Delta blues, you know, the old Mississippi, you know.
Even if the recordings are bad. Yeah.
Yeah, listen to Robert Johnson, Son House, Howlin' Wolf. Listen to all these guys.
Oh, Muddy Waters. I mean, go old school blues if you have to. The recordings suck, but still.
Yeah, and then, you know, read around, you know, what else was going on in these time periods. Slavery and you know, these guys, these blues players, they didn't have fancy equipment, you know, that the guys in town had. They had these shitty guitars with two strings, and they were just, you know. So it's interesting, you know. Blues has an interesting story, you know, and it's worth reading.
You know, and I'm glad that you mentioned the history of blues, because that's one thing that always fascinated me about the blues, because I actually learned about this in school, and that was blues originated, of course, during the slave times, but it was, and that's why the blues has the formula that it does. It's a 12-bar blues, and it's known as a call and response. So you would have slaves in one side of the fields. They would call, they would sing a song, and then somebody from the other side of the field, they would respond. So you had this call and response. That's why the blues has, it sounds repetitive, because you have this...
Yeah, they actually...
back and forth movement.
Yeah, they actually called it field holler.
Yeah, that's it.
A lot, because you know, a lot of there weren't instruments. You know, they had to kind of make their own rhythm.
Yeah,
and that sparked off, you know, a whole thing of blues. But also, I mean, soul, R&B. I mean, rap. I mean, it can all
even rap.
Even rap. Although I've gotten a little.
I grew up on hip hop, so
man, I downloaded Ice Cube's Greatest Hits on my phone, and I've been listening to that back and forth to work, because I was like, the last couple weeks at work, you know, I've kind of been in this funk, you know, like, you know, I really want to be. I'm just not real motivated, so I need to get pumped up on my way.
So you used Ice Cube to motivate you?
He's a good rapper, dude.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying, and he's a good actor too. But I'm just
I didn't even know he was a rap. I mean, I was like, I thought he had like one rap album or something. I didn't really know.
He was with
dude, he's a good rapper.
Attitudes. He is, because he was with the N-word with Attitudes. Yeah.
Nymphomaniacs with attitude.
Yeah. But that just shows you where blues has taken us. That without bands like Stevie Ray, without all of these Delta bands, you know, like what you mentioned, B.B. King and so forth, we wouldn't be where we're at without blues. So for those of you who've never experienced blues, you go, blues, that's boring. I'm not asking you to listen to jazz. Blues is a precursor to jazz. So listen to blues first and immerse yourself. You know, my baby left me last week. You know, I got no money. You know, even...
I've literally had both of those happen.
So seriously. You can sing the blues. You know, this whole thing, you know, about white people don't know the blues. We can, you know, okay, so we weren't slaves in the last 100 years, but we can relate to hard times. We can.
I feel like I am kind of a slave, though.
You're a slave to society.
I have to get up every morning.
Have to
go to work.
You have to work.
I can't leave.
You can't leave.
I mean,
You are a slave.
And how are we supposed to be rock stars when we're having to go to work all day?
We are a slave to social media.
Yeah. But speaking of social media, we're probably getting close to... We're probably way over. Who cares?
No, we're actually just a few minutes out, so I figured that I was going to take the old capo off and go back to standard E so we can...
Mine fell off. Oh, but we have to say to everyone that's watched, you know, we've got 10 videos in.
10 videos. This is number 10, yes.
And hey, you guys might think, oh yeah, 10 videos. You know, dude, when you work 40 hours a week, you know, and you come home and then we're trying to write music, but then we're also have lawns to mow and
we got shit to do, man. We got lives to lead. So,
you know, next episode we're going to be starting a series, kind of a songwriter series, kind of like maybe like a song from like birth to death. You know, like how does the song start? You know, does it start with an idea, a riff, and we can kind of bounce ideas. That's all I have. That's all that's really in the future. So that's it. There's nothing else.
And that's why you need to keep watching episode after episode, because we're going to bring you something. We're going to go, well, hot damn, I did not know that. Or, I learned something new. Or, hey, these guys are pretty interesting for a bunch of old farts, you know?
Yeah, or these guys are a bunch of bleeping idiots.
Hey, don't forget, there was that one person who commented. Did they call you a dork, or it was something on Facebook? They called you a dork. Yeah, okay, probably. They probably call me a dork. Whatever, it happens all the time. So what's new? So how about we do our variation of Stevie Ray Vaughan's "Pride and Joy"? The blues, yeah. Cool, we did it. Number 10 is in the books. Don't forget 10. To like, subscribe, haters
and hoes.
Trademark.
Claire Koenig. Sue your ass, copyright, baby.
We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.